Okay, last video. I'm down in San Bernardino at Mr. Ramos, County Supervisor's office, to discuss with him things that I've been hearing from local Al Qaeda about things that they're planning and doing and how their modus operandi is and how to catch them and know who is what and how to follow who are the real guys on social media and other events and what's coming in the pipeline, what's about to happen. And I got turned away by his secretary, who told me to go home and call. And then when I called for my home, she would give me an appointment to meet with him after I'd already gone down and met with them all several times. All of a sudden, I got the total cold shoulder blow off. And so I'm discussing that the reason why I spent my last dollar on gas, $65, to get to them to discuss it in person is because I was getting blown off on the phone and was not getting access anymore, and there were serious things about to happen. Well, a couple officers were overhearing the information, and they invited me outside, and they said, you know what, if you go to the county supervisor's meeting on such and such day, there's going to be these individuals there, and you can tell directly to the supervisor to his face everything that you want to say. And we invite you to come and to share with what's going on right then and there, and he can't blow you off. So I did. Well, in the meantime, San Bernardino event happened. And I can prove exactly who and what they are, and that it was a used combination false flag attack that didn't have anything to do with the individual being true Islamic terrorists. Okay, the guy was just basically a disgruntled employee, Arabic asshole, who went to Arab countries looking around for a pay-for-bride, and thought that his citizenship and giving somebody U.S. citizenship would be like this big bone to offer, and everybody in the Arab countries blew him off. I mean, he was a total asshole, couldn't even get a date anywhere in the U.S., so, you know, I can't imagine he was much better in his home country trying to go to, you know, fancy Arab families and impress them. They weren't impressed. So finally, he gets this Pakistani woman that was like a maidservant of one of them, and they said, well, you can have her. And so he takes her, puts her on her plane, and flies back to America. Well, she's sitting uncovered next to a man that she doesn't know on an airplane, going home with him to his country without getting married first. I'm sorry, but they would have been killed when they stepped off that plane by true Islam people if that had really happened. But they weren't. So they didn't. So they're alive. So she goes home with him, and they were not legally married, and she has a baby with a man, and the baby's now 2 years old. Again, if they were true Islamist people, they would not be alive. That just doesn't happen. You get married to the person, and then you throw her down on the rug and rape her whenever you want, but you are married to her first, period. So it was a combination, you know, local idiot guy, false flag kind of thing, because there's rumors that there were other people running around, you know, shooting off more weapons than just what they had. And then there's a thing that appears on her Facebook where she swears allegiance to Islamist radical terrorism. The only problem is it was posted 12 hours after she died. And when that was hinted at, their apartment was opened up for any reporter they wanted to go wandering around, and supposedly they found a little pamphlet that had to do with Islamic stuff. And again, if reporters and everybody were allowed in to, you know, view everything, that looks like an intentional discovery. And when the thing about her posting happening 12 hours after she died was announced to the public, then all of a sudden her whole computer was thrown into a local lake? By who? I mean, obviously it was used for political reasons to support the let's get rid of guns agenda, but when all of these little false flag signals started popping up, which certainly indicated political usury, if not a true false flag, but definitely was not Islamic prompted. And even the FBI got tired of being thrown under the bus and said they've never been on our radar. Of course, they did refuse to meet with me when I told them how I knew how to track everybody on social media for who was doing and carrying out certain plans in different areas. So, they didn't pay attention to some of the signals that they were given. See, this is so cold. I'm invited to the meeting, and I was offered to discuss with Ramos and with everybody, all the participants, about the truth of what was going on in certain things, namely that there's nowhere to complain to when there's corrupt agents. There's nowhere to complain to when Guy and Jason are having a war with Weinhammer and his people on the computer right in front of me. And when Jason started calling me and saying, why, you keep getting this turned off and that turned on and this other thing changed and this other thing altered. It was like every other day. And I said, they're just testing you. They know that you're watching me, and they're afraid that I asked you or got you involved on them, and you didn't know about any of this until they started seeing this stuff changing and happening right in front of their face, right as we're talking. And they're like, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they, doing all these changes on your computer thousands of times? Just really tiring. And I said, they're doing it intentionally because they want to see if you're still watching me. So when I write a little message on my computer, and I leave the computer on and up and open so you can find it easier in the 20 documents that are on the, the plate there, I put a note to you and I put it on top. And when you just kind of flick over to my channel, you see that there's no, oh, by the way, they turned this off, they turned this on, they changed this. And in the morning when I would get up, it would be all fixed. And that was nice and wonderful and convenient. But one day I told them about them turning off something in Microsoft and turning off something on the videos and turning off the sound on something else. And for 4 days they were busy and they didn't change it. And I said, you're making me really paranoid, because if you don't fix it right away, I don't understand, right that moment, no. Maybe the next day, okay. But to go 4 days without calling me or without just going in and turning this on and that off and this on, they're looking and they're watching. And if they see that they've made changes and you aren't helping me anymore, that means you're not watching me anymore. That means they can send in another hitman and kill me. They're so paranoid about you upsetting their whole drug ring that they're taking it out on me, and they're screwing up my computer every other day, literally, for the last year and a half now. In order to see, is the CIA still watching her? Are they still protecting her? Because they want to know when they can get away with offing me, And now I can see by some of the things that the guy said, although sending that one CIA agent friend to check on me, would point to CIA, but not necessarily, because they work hand in hand. When I told them about some of the things that they were doing, when they finally started to ask me, why are they doing this, to you? Why are they on you? And I explained they're afraid about their little drug operation being blown open by thousands of agents. And I said, but you can't talk to this or that office or this or that agent, because those people are completely, they're paid. They're paid off, and they're corrupt, and you can't report it to these agencies or these individuals or these offices. They were like, no, don't tell me about anything about like that. And they immediately squeamied into a corner on several different occasions when that came up. And that is so FBI tactic. It's not funny. You can call 20 different agents in 20 different offices in 20 different states, and as soon as you say, such and such happened, but this is the officer that's getting paid off, this officer in this office works hand in hand with so and so, this county is known as the most corrupt in the nation. As soon as you say anything about, well, is this going to be a real secure agent? Is he, known to be integrity and honesty and ethics, or, do you have any doubts at all of, so-and-so might cooperate with the opposite side? I'm sorry, we must disconnect this phone call right now. Boom, and they hang up. So we don't have in America anywhere to report anything where there's corruption or agents involved. And with this bad guy changing my computer every other day, if Jason and Guy have stopped fixing or changing my computer, I mean, it used to be, I could call and then they would fix it right there while I was online. And it got to be so obnoxious with it happening every other day that I started just writing a little note, and it would say, "Dear G-Man, they turned this off and this on and this on and this off," and it would list 2 or 3 things, whatever they had changed, and the next morning when I would get up, it would be fixed. And that phone number is 1-888-496-4248. And that's the number of Guy and Jason and whatever surveillance office of whichever agency they truly work for. So I would like somebody to uncover who they really are working for, because I didn't take my book to the CIA to sell it to them. The book on the Paris Bataclan attacks, terrorist massacre at Bataclan, Paris, and sociology of a terror cell. CreateSpace.com, 615-2756. That was the book that I wrote to take directly to the CIA and sell to them. I have a friend who writes for them, sells 1,000 copies a month. That's why I said, hey, they changed my IP address so Russia can't get another book that they don't want Russia to see. But if all the CIA agents have already been reading it, literally each stroke as I was writing it all along, then, they just stole my sale. And they did all of it without my permission or knowledge or anything. And all of a sudden, everybody already has the book for free. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. But if they're really FBI agents and the CIA hasn't seen my book yet at all for real, it was kind of important that they saw it the day that it was out, which was the same day that Salah Abdeslam got captured. So there's still things in there that have not happened yet, and which could seriously change their motivation and their understanding to change the current tide of who's helping who, who's training who, who's assisting who, and how they are being bamboozled into some ultimate other plot to which they think that they are not going to be included in, which will certainly spell their own demise. So it's still extremely critical that that book, The Terrorist Massacre at Bataclan, Paris, and Sociology of a Terror Cell, CreateSpace.com/615-2756, it would be extremely important that book make it to the CIA, hopefully for purchase this time, instead of stealing from my computer. Whatever they're telling you is not true. You're not included in the number of individuals which are slated to be saved. Probably all the people that are at your level, which are not on the save list, which you're not, are probably the first ones on the list for like the 15,000 guillotines that are being hidden by Obama's bride, Merkel, in Germany. But now that honeymoon is over, hopefully you can check into that and find that those guillotines are there, and in Georgia and other places like Georgia and Florida seems to be the popular place right now, especially for the planes that were repainted as Russian planes in order to be used October before last, October 15, Obama's plot to put everyone into concentration camps. And they might tell you that your name's on the list for that secret underground city, but I seriously doubt it. There's a very limited number of people for each one of those secret cities. And when you got a FEMA facility in, Alaska that can carry 20 million people, are you kidding? There's a lot of funny things that are going on, and they're telling you, well, you're on the good list, but chances are you're not. So you might want to think about exposing some of those details and helping someone, me, who's had 39 properties and $128 million stolen, which was invested by me at $40 every other week. So maybe you should call me and offer me that job for giving the Trump team the Russia facts and stuff, for which he got blamed for being Putin's puppet, just because I gave him the exact number of emails that Russia and China have. Really? As I'm writing my sermons for 548 churches all over the world. It would be nice if someone would step in and see the corruption in the judges, in the attorneys, in the state individuals, which I know in several states, which are party to this plot. And you got officers, local officer making $400,000 a month. The money just kind of goes up. But I certainly didn't deserve to have attempts on my life, attempts on my child's life, my child being given a man-made environmental cancer for which she has to get drugs every week to maintain and stay alive and keep the disease at bay. That's ridiculous. I am not a CIA experiment. I do not deserve to have all the things happen to me that did, just because you want to see how much you can douse on one person before they snap. If you did 10 times more to me than you did to Dorner 10 years ago, then you need to get off my back. And I need someone to step up, be a man, and say, we're supposed to be taking care of the single women that don't have anyone to speak for them, not drive them under the dirt because they don't have a man to blame their successes on. Now remember, I graduated #1 in the world in economics and in business, and I can turn around the financial plight of any nation on this earth into utter prosperity, completely and independently of the other nations. So, somebody please get their little phone ringing right now and give me a call. I'm sure every agency in the world can give you my phone number, or reach me at paypal.me/buffalostudy@yahoo.com. Thank you so much, and please get someone involved that can get me an attorney and get my farm saved back, and put people like David Wolgernies Wasserman Schultz into jail for the $600 million that he made stealing 20,000 properties from cute little families in Wisconsin that averaged a value of $10 to $12 million a piece, and then paid that money in pay-per-play to the HC campaign to get Debbie Wasserman Schultz the DNCC, and $3 million that she would have been the Secretary of State out of funds stolen from my farm if Hillary had won the election. Thank you so much, and please get a hold of me. I can tell you how to analyze the terrorism and the corruption and the chain from any country, and how to turn around your country into absolute prosperity. Thank you so much. God bless. Don't forget, this is Ellie Blair White.